Let's start. Dahnon, thank you for joining our last session for this year, a Christmas special as a Christmas special guest. And also congratulations for winning first ever ITF Junior Wheelchair Tennis. So we have two interviewers who are wheelchair tennis players. Gemma is an experienced journalist, and Asif is passionate about becoming journalist and also wheelchair tennis player. Asif, we can hear you.
Asif, mute it.
Asif, mute. So let's start with Gemma, and then Asif will ask questions. They will take in turns, and at last, you all can. Anyone has got a question, you can ask from Dahnon as well. Yes, Gemma, over to you.
Hi, Dahnon. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. You?
I mean, throughout this interview, if you want to ignore Stuart Wilkinson, please feel free to. A number of his players have in the past when I've interviewed them. Congrats on your ITF Wheelchair Junior Player of the Year, alongside Lizzie, of course. Been a bit of a 2020 for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. Not having any tournaments, and it's been quite a tough year, I think, for everyone. So yeah, and getting this award was a bit unexpected, so it's brought a quite nice end to it. So yeah.
Why tennis? Why did you choose to take your tennis journey further? Why, and who encouraged you to take that journey further?
Well, I started off playing basketball first, and I enjoyed it because of the team sort of aspect of it, and I think I preferred tennis over it because I had, I dealt with the losers and I dealt with the winning as well. So I think having control over that sort of side of it is better, but also basketball is great for the sort of team side of it. And if it wasn't for my dad, I wouldn't have played tennis. I wouldn't even thought about playing tennis. So yeah.
Yeah, your dad's been a big influence on your tennis career, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And he's a massive supporter. I've seen him courtside. Now, what would you say? Because there's some guys here. You've just heard Sibby actually saying she doesn't think she'll ever compete. There's a mixture of people here on this. Some who've played wheelchair tennis before, some who are just starting on their journey, some who are a long way along their journey. I mean, what would you say to everybody here about maybe their tennis journey and how they can make the most of it the way you have?
I mean, even if you don't like the competitive side of it, playing at tournaments is like a great way to socialise. You meet loads of new people, and I think just the best way to get involved is just pick up your racket and just find a club that you can go to and just try and get involved.
Okay, Dahnon, when you see the top players playing and you see that sometime I'll be in top, I'll be world champion. I'm going to ask you from here that what are your future ambitions and goals? Have you set any goals, and you have any ambitions you can share with us?
I think medaling at the Paralympics would be pretty good, and just trying to be the best player I can possibly be. I think setting a goal is just limiting yourself to failure, really. So I think if you don't set a goal, then you can't lose, really. So
exactly. Okay. During your when you started tennis, what and who inspired you the most in your tennis journey? This is my question. There is inspiration. Who's your inspiration, and what else inspired you?
I think my dad, really. He's played a massive role in my journey. He's always been there for me, and also my mom. They take me
exactly.
And yeah, they just spend a lot of time at tournaments and driving me places. So yeah, I'm very thankful to have them. So
yeah, we are the witness that how hard your parents, working for you, maybe probably more harder than you.
Yeah.
Gemma, next question for you.
I think when you win your first Grand Slam, Dahnon, I think you need to take your mum and dad on a cruise. That's me saying that now, and I'll say it to him as well when I next see him. No, but you've talked a bit about goal setting as well, and do you share these goals with your dad? And does he sometimes go, "Oh, Dahnon, no, please no, don't do this to me"?
Yeah, I think my mum's worse for it. She, whenever we talk about anything, she's like, "Oh, you don't have to speak about this now." So, yeah.
And how do you change the goal? I mean, because this has obviously been a year where you've had to change your goalposts a lot. I mean, we've had tournaments on, we've had tournaments off. You've had training on, you've had training off. You know, hopefully, like you said, 2021, a bit more of a normal year. But things like next year, the junior masters are at a different time as well. So you kind of changing your calendar as well around that. How do you go about resetting goals when things just change unexpectedly?
I think this year's been good for me anyway, because it's sort of like I've been given time to just train and get through it, and sort of not had the pressure of competing. And I think it's just really, you just don't know until anything happens. So I think you've just got to get through it, and if your training plan goes one-sided, you just got to get through it, I think. So.
Well, I'm now going to pass you to Asif. Make the most of this, Dahnon, because for once it's not me that's asking the random questions. The rest of your career it will be. Don't put making flat back furniture on your Instagram, otherwise I'm coming after you. But no, Asif's going to ask you some slightly more fun questions now.
There'll be a fun rapid fire questions for you. Are you ready for that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You have to give answer very quickly without thinking. Okay.
Yeah.
Who is your best wheelchair tennis fan? Mom, dad, or girlfriend?
Probably my mum.
Your mom. Okay. The second is about food. Thai breakfast or English breakfast?
Thai breakfast.
Quick.
Thai.
Thai breakfast.
Thai.
Yeah,
Okay.
because your mom prepared for it. Okay, the third is your favorite shot. Forehand, backhand, serve, or volley?
I think
Reverse
forehand,
backhand.
forehand cross.
Fun. Okay, good.
Stuart, no reverse backhand, please. Okay, the fourth. Okay, you love competition or training?
Competition.
Oh,
Great.
well done.
Yeah, well done. We were guessing that you loved competition, especially against me.
No, he said competition. That's
Competition.
competition.
Okay. In doubles, in doubles against against me and Manoj, your game plan is big serve, longer rally, or target Manoj.
Oi.
Careful, Dahnon, they're
Long
getting
rally.
in the next
Long rally.
issue.
Dahnon, you're lying. That was not your strategy. I know.
What did he say?
Would I've got a question. Would Dahnon need a partner to beat you two?
Clever. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay. Then next hypothetical fun questions for you. Imagine, Dahnon, you imagine you're in a jeep traveling in the desert, and you see three people whom you're gonna save. Okay, you can give lift to only one person. The persons are Federer, Nadal, or Djokovic.
Nadal.
Definitely not Nadal.
Woo!
Why is
Yeah.
that? Why not?
Why is that? Why Nadal?
I don't know. He's just cool, isn't he?
Okay, if you meet Federer and you say that, oh, I like Nadal, what would be his reaction to you?
He probably wouldn't care because he doesn't know who I am.
No, you will be. Okay. Okay, now for wheelchair tennis players. Okay, I'm gonna give you the options are you're same in a jeep traveling in a desert, and you see four people actually. Now I'm gonna add another: Shingo, Alfie, Gordon, or Gustavo.
Be careful here.
Oh no.
No.
Alfie.
Alfie.
Dahnon, you don't have to say Alfie just because his ex-coach is here.
Yeah, and the coach
So
is
much
there.
easier.
That's why. Okay,
He's taking
Alfie.
Alfie so he can be his partner at Tokyo. See, smart.
Yeah, get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question, same scenario. Three people: your coach, favorite player, and your opponent. Whom you're gonna play in the finals? Whom are you gonna save?
My
Whom you gonna
coach.
give them?
His
Coach.
coach.
Yep. All right. No favorite player, no opponent, because obviously you're gonna be you'll be the winner.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Now over to Manoj.
Thank you, Gemma, and thank you, Asif. It was Dahnon. Thank you very much for really managing and giving a good answers. And I have one question to you. I think you want desperately beat and win someone in national. I know who is it. Have you developed the business?
Don't
Have
take
you
my name.
developed the game plan? Tell us first of all, who is that you wanted to beat?
Pardon? What?
In national tournament, you desperately want to beat somebody. I know
Yeah.
from last year. Who's that?
Asif.
Have you developed the game plan?
Not yet.
Okay, it's going to be a good.
He's not going to tell you, is he? Come on.
Please tell me.
Thank you. Now, thank you for both of you, and thank you. Now it's open for anyone who wants to ask, even Stuart and Dahnon. You're also welcome to ask us any question, please. We got another 10 minutes. Yes, Gemma, Miriam.
Yeah. In terms of when. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You said you were going to save Alfie, but you did. I'm sorry, Stu. I'm just going to be blunt. But you did say Gustavo was your favorite wheelchair player, because Gustavo is my favorite wheelchair player. And if I had to save any wheelchair player, I'm sorry, Stu. I'll definitely save Gustavo. So why?
Gustavo's not the same now. He's not with Fernando, the coach.
Yeah.
Gustavo's last year's player.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. We still. I'd rather save him than save Alfie. So to your answer.
You know what, Mariam? It's a good job my mother's not in this living room, because she'd be keeping up with Stu.
To your answer, would you truly save Alfie, or?
I think I've got to stick with Alfie because.
Happy Christmas, Sibi.
Happy Christmas. Bye.
Bye, Sibi.
Bye, Sibi.
Bye.
Bye, Sibi.
See you all next year.
Bye.
Thank you, Mariam. Anyone else would like to ask a question? And I
Bye,
guess-
has got.
Yeah.
Well done, and it's not so much a question as it's more. I mean, I've seen you develop through the school games from about 2015, and you could see the potential you had then. I mean, you give my Ulster lads an awful hard time anytime you got them on court, and I just want to congratulate you on your award and the fantastic things you're doing. And I mean, you could tell then you were going to go right to the top. So I think you should keep going, and well done.
A round of applause, please. All of you.
Yay.
Love it.
Well done for flying the flags for the Brits. Brilliant. Congratulations.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, Dan, and I've got one. You mentioned pressure-based drills.
Yeah.
And I was just imagining what that looks like.
So you do ones where like you have a certain amount of lives, or you need to get to 20. So say this is you're working on your serve. You want to get to 20 points. You set your range of 1 to 5 on how many points you get for making a serve. So you could set yourself 5 points for the serve that you're going to get. You serve it, then you miss, then you lose 5 points. You award yourself 5 points for making a serve, and you've got to get to 20. And if you miss, you lose 5 points. And so yeah, you can do that. And there's drills where if you're playing against a coach or something, you can do it where you rally in and you have to switch your shot to go to a different area of the court. And if you make it, you get a point. If you don't, you lose it, and you've got to get to like 5 or something like that. So yeah, there's different drills that you can do like that.
But do they feel like real pressure?
Yeah.
Does it like is the idea that you're really, it's kind of that, because in a real game where you kind of, for me, and I'll miss a second serve or I'll do something silly, but ordinarily you would get that shot. The idea of just repeat. Is that what that looks like?
It's a different kind of pressure. It's sort of a more frustration kind of pressure, but I think it does help. And I think just simulating match play is just pretty good, and just trying to find people that you're close with in abilities, and just having matches against them, just because people that you want to beat and playing against them, you just get used to it. And I think, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry.
Manoj, can I just ask another question following on from that?
Yeah, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Does it help that because you and Ben have kind of come up at the same time through the junior ranks, does it help that you have Ben there to spar against, and you've got that kind of?
Yeah. I think I wouldn't be where I am without Ben. I think Ben pushes me on, and I think he's beaten me last time we played, so it pushes me to train even harder. So sort of you just go like that in ability. So yeah.
Brilliant. Stuart, Mark, you have any questions? Any tips to us as well about how to overcome failures? Sometimes it's something that everybody has to. Even I can see that Dahnon also said that he's struggling sometimes to quickly to park it to a side to have a loose and then coming back. Any tips for that, Stuart?
Well, in my experience, it's the word failure. You have not really failed. You might not have achieved what you want to achieve, but you have to be able to see if everything is prepared as best you can. And on the day, anything can happen, and all we can do is control the controllables. Sometimes you make the wrong decision, and it's how long that wrong decision affects you in that match. So someone like Pete Norfolk was very good when I coached him. He made the wrong decision, he'd shake it off straight away. Someone like Andrew Lapthorne, when I coached him, he would be 3 to 5 games where he wouldn't get over it. Sometimes 2 sets. It'll be the last point. Alfie would be, and he learned to be quite good at getting it out. So whether it's shouting at me in the box or whether it was shouting at himself, he would let it go. And there was a lot of people that didn't like that, and a lot of people that would say he's got to manage his anger, but that was his way of getting it out, because he was actually calmer afterwards than he was if he'd let it simmer and let it settle.
Exactly.
So the failure thing, it's an interesting one, because if you don't make mistakes, you don't learn. So you have to make sure that you're making the mistakes to learn, but it's how quick you learn from those mistakes. And you can't do it straight away. It takes loads of practice. Pressure drills are interesting because the pressure is only there if you put the pressure on, and it's the level of pressure you put on. If you're doing score-based pressure, so like I'm playing Mark Bullock and he has a 30-love head start, I'm under pressure straight away. But is that something I want to train, being used to being 30-love down? So I'm very different to how a lot of the coaches work, because you don't want to get used to being 30-love down. For years, Gemma's watched him, Alfie would always slow start. So we flipped everything around about being really positive and always being 30-love up, because actually he was better when he was down than when he was winning. And Andrew Lapthorne was the same. If he was winning 4-love against Dylan, I was worried, because I'd know that that would be a 6-4 set to Dylan. Pete, I had absolutely 100% confidence that if he was winning, he would always win, unless something major happened. Because once he had control, he's a bit of a control freak, he would control the rhythm of the game, he would slow his opponent down, or he would speed up. And that's something you learn over years. It can be done quickly, but it's something you can do at any level. If you guys are all playing at East Sheen tournament and Lawrence is banging down good serves and you're making mistakes, Tony, slow him down, turn your back. You play him on your speed. You're lucky at some big tournaments to have umpires. They'll say, come on, let's play. But you wait till they tell you, because what are they going to do? They might warn you. If you do it again, you might get a point deduction, but let them warn you. Play at your own pace. Tennis is one of those things where you can control small things like your serve. You can control the rhythm. You can't control the weather. You can't control how well your opponent's playing unless you try doing different things. But you have to have a really clear mind. It's not about how big you hit the ball. It's about where you hit the ball and how you hit it there to be able to actually reach the total potential that you've got. And anyone can do that, whether you're a beginner or Alfie or Gordon's level. Sometimes coaches give too much information and players have to think too much. And that's the last thing you want to do, is have so many thoughts in your head when you've got 0.5 of a second to hit the right shot.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like a comment. I think it's really interesting about you see quote that the failure is not the opposite of success, and I think we almost have to get following on what Stu says, that players to enjoy competing regardless of the outcome, and just enjoy the process. And if you lose and you've given 100%, so be it. Yeah.
If you look back at the British success when we were involved, like back in the day, years and years ago, Giant Mystery was our best player. Mark started him off. Martin coached him as well. I then coached him 5 years. He had no competition within the program or within the GB team. So he was like a guy sailing, sort of flying the flag. Then when he retired, Pete Norfolk came along. He won the gold medal in Athens 2004. He had no competition, but the quad division was weak then, and Pete was very strong. As the quad division got stronger, luckily we had people like Mark Eccleston around a little bit, Jamie Burdekin and Andrew Lapthorne. I obviously coached both, and they trained together and they pushed each other. It kept Pete young and it more matured Andrew. And that's happened with Gordon and Alfie. They've pushed each other up. So when we put these pressure on these young tennis players like Dahnon or Ben, if you get 2 of them or 3 of them, they will get there if they just fight, but they have to be they have to play a lot against each other. And the biggest challenge we always had with Alfie and Gordon, whether they are like each other, not like each other, whether they're chalk and cheese, they just got to compete. And it's okay to lose, like fall out in a match. It's okay to be annoyed when you've lost, but then when you come together in doubles, it's a separate thing. And we had a little bit of that in the ladies with Geordie and Lucy, a little bit. But it's so important to have a group. And that's why you as a group on the online stuff, when you come together and train in our one-day camps, or if you go and compete, you will make each other better. No matter how bad or good you think you are, you will make each other better. And that's so important. That's why we've got to get so many more people playing. When Mark was doing wheelchair tennis back in, when it was black and white TV, he's a lot older than me.
It was, yeah.
At Nationals or British Open, there was the Open division, so the Alfies and the Gordons of this world. Then there was the next division down. Then there's the next division down. There's like A, B, and C. Then there was novice. There was like 300 people playing at that one event. Now we got lucky to get 30. We've got to get more.
I remember at the start of my reporting career, they had a second draw as well as the main draw.
Yeah, main draw, second draw, A and B, and then novice, and they were full.
And to Stuart's point, I think when I was coaching Giant, he was at his best when Simon Hack, who was number 2, crept up the rankings.
Yeah.
And Giant felt that I want to be British number 1, so I've got to start working a little bit harder. So in the non-disabled game, when you look at Agassi, Sampras, Courier, they all came through as a cluster.
Yeah.
It's rare that you get a single player from any one country, because they're look at Federer, Wawrinka. Yeah. There's often a second player. That's
Saida.
Say again, Stu, sorry?
Shingo had Saida, because Shingo was I mean, I remember watching Tony Nappett. We all know Tony Nappett play Shingo in the B division or novice division, and he won the first game off of Shingo, this young Japanese kid.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Stuart, and thank you for all your contributions, and thank you for making this special Christmas session to be wonderful.